Elections to the European Parliament will take place in early June 2024. In this regard, Russia has become increasingly active in spreading disinformation about EU countries and top European officials. One of the Kremlin's key tactics is to smear the image of European politicians. French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife were among the first to be subjected to slanderous attacks. Immediately after Macron's statement in February 2024 that Paris did not rule out the possibility of sending French troops to Ukraine, the Kremlin media began accusing him of sabotage and allegedly provoking World War III.
Moscow has used explicit threats, including mention of crossing a red line in September 2022 if the United States supplied longer-range missiles to Ukraine, as well as implicit threats such as frequent reference to Russia's nuclear doctrine. Russia has also used disinformation campaigns, exercises, and new nuclear force deployments to Belarus to manipulate risks and attempt to weaken Western support for Ukraine. From a publication on the EU versus Disinfo.
In the context of the upcoming European elections, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and EU High Representative Joseph Borrell are increasingly becoming targets of Kremlin fakes. The number of attacks against him has increased significantly since February 2023, when the head of the European diplomacy released a report on the manipulation of foreign information that documented Russian operations.
Besides mocking cartoons depicting Borrell as Joseph Goebbels, the spike also included fabricated, false articles imitating credible news media like Deutsche Welle articles from a publication on the EU versus Disinfo.
After the publication of Joseph Borrell's book Europe Between Two Wars, Russian propagandists launched a disinformation campaign focused on Europe, Africa, Middle East, and Latin America. The main narrative is that Borrell recognizes the failure of EU policy. Among with fakes, Russia is also actively using hackers from the APT-28 group for cyber activities against the EU, its member states, and international partners, including Ukraine.
Cyber attacks usually happen in the context of certain events. There is a peace summit and elections in European countries coming soon, which is why we see the activation of Russian hackers in relation to these countries. Their main goal is to destabilize the situation in society. Specifically, the goal is to target government agencies, state web resources, including political parties. We know who is behind it. We have official confirmation that it is Russian special services, namely military units which call themselves Wonder Bear hacker organization.
Experts say that all Russian propaganda campaigns against Ukraine and EU countries are designed to undermine European public support for aid to Ukraine. This involves both financial and military as well as humanitarian support. Reported by Anastasia Tarnavska, Yulia Granovska, UATV News.